Well, I don't know about you, but I am not a big fan of having cables all over the place, whether it's at my home studio or on the stage. That's why I highly recommend a wireless system for your guitar. If you're on a budget, there are some great options out there. Today we're going to take a look at the Joyo JW-08. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and wireless is pretty much my go-to, whether I'm in my home studio or if I'm playing out someplace, especially in my home studio because it's limited space in here and I just don't like to have cables all over the place. So if I can eliminate the guitar connection to my interface or my amp, that does make me happy. Now, I'm not a big expert on the difference between UHF and standard wireless, but what they say, at least in their listing on Amazon, that UHF has strong anti-interference and longer transmission. Well, we're going to test that today because they claim 150 feet of range, and I'm going to take it out onto my favorite pier to test it. I wanted to make sure that I got this on for you today because the Amazon Prime Day sale is going on, and right now they're only 31 bucks. So it's like, okay, you know, $30 or $32 is $31.99, I think. That's cheap enough to give it a shot if you've never used wireless and you're like, hey, I could use something like that, but I don't want to spend 200 bucks. Well, let's take these out on the pier and test it, and we'll come back and give you the rest of the story. All right, we're on this pier right now, and this pier is actually 430 feet, but they've cut it off at 150 feet right now for maintenance. So I know that it's 150 feet. Let's see how it does. It's UHF, but it doesn't matter if the body is going to block the signal, which the receiver is actually back behind the camera back there. If it blocks the signal, you may have some dropout. So let's just go ahead and take a walk here. We'll start right here. All right, this is probably about a third of the way. All right, it's pretty windy out here, so it's really hard for me to hear that little speaker back there. It's a Spark Mini, but let's see how this does. I think this is probably a little bit more than halfway. Okay, I'm gonna say this is probably 100 feet right here. All right, this is 150 feet, and I'm just noticing that there's a piling that's semi-blocking that, so I'm gonna move over here as far as I can, just to give it a fair shot. All right, let's give it an example of walking and playing now, because you never know, especially if you're going to be playing out someplace, you maybe want to walk through the crowd or something like that. I think not too bad. I couldn't really hear out there. There might have been some dropout at 150 feet? 150 feet. Well, I'll just have to wait until I get back to the studio to find out. I'd say they performed pretty good. Now, I did notice that when my back was turned to the receiver, did get a little bit of crackling in there. But I mean, again, these are not supposed to be the most expensive, most advanced wireless system. It's a, under $40 system, even when it's not on a Prime Day sale. And they're not trying to say that this is the most advanced equipment. It says ideal for beginners practice and small gig/rehearsals, not recommended for large venues. So yeah, beginners practice, rehearsals, that kind of thing. I don't know if I'd count on these to be on stage with you. So again, it is UHF wireless, 6-channel, low latency, 150-foot range, and they are mono. They have auto pairing and there's no need to choose a channel, but if you want to, you can. I'll show you that in just a second. 2 hours to charge with 6-hour battery life and 4-level battery indicator. That's kind of a big deal to me because a lot of these things don't have that. They just have a light that will turn yellow or something like that. At least this one, you know if you're at half full or almost empty, so I like that. I mean, let's face it, if you're all stoked to play and you went to use these and you were like, oh, they're not charged, at least you know when to charge them up. Let's get a close-up look of them. It's a really simple setup and very simple packaging. You get the 2 devices. That's what your box looks right there. And as I told you, there are 6 channels, so that tells you what frequency those different channels are going to operate from. There is a manual inside of the package and a standard to double USB-C charging cable. You know, as they indicated, these aren't exactly intended for professional use or stage use or whatever. So I suppose to make them simple for everybody from beginner to professional, they tell you right on there in big, big letters, receiver and transmitter. We've got a little rubber stopper on the back of it, just in case that part hits the body of your guitar. And these will rotate, I guess it's like 240 degrees, I think is what they say. It's very simple to use them. On, and you'll see that once they get paired, they will turn the same color. Kind of hard to tell that color, but it's a purple color. So it's just that easy to get them connected. USB-C ports are right on the side of them to charge them up. Then they got a little button that's on the side here. Well, that's your battery indicator right there. So there are actually 4 levels. It's hard to see it right here. But yeah, there are 4 levels, and they just decrease as the power goes down in them. You also notice a button that's right next to that. So if you double tap that button, 1, 2, then it changes the channel. And so that's on the light blue or indigo. Hit it again, and you see that that one automatically pairs up with it. So obviously made for ease of use. So there you go, the JW-08 UHF wireless system from Joyo, and I just want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, always very important to my channel, so if you like what you see, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a red subscribe button down there, a notification bell. If you click both of those, you get notifications when I upload new videos. Again, thank you so much for your support here on the channel, and that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.